So I have a cold. I guess that's all I have. But you know, you go so long and you're not sick. And then COVID happens. Or no COVID. I don't have COVID. I've taken 2 COVID tests. But anyway, you know, I went a year and wasn't sick. Well, now you get sick and it's like become a hypochondriac or something. It's the national championship, so most Americans are sitting around watching the Horned Frogs play the Georgia Bulldogs. And I was down there with my husband and a friend. And then the friend was like, I said, weren't you with a bunch of people that had COVID? He was like, yeah, but I don't have COVID. I was like, oh, you tested? He was like, no, I didn't test. I was like, I'm going to kill you. And whoever mailed this hat to my family today, I really like it. Kind of makes me want to start hunting California waterfowl. I don't need it though tonight. So I was all set to go to bed. And then I put up this post. I was like, I'm not going to do a video tonight. Drinking tea. And I put up this post about the 10 things parents want to say at an IEP meeting. So if you don't have a child with disability or you're not a teacher, go on and go watch the football game. This is for folks that fall into the exceptional needs family, which I never wanted to be on the cover of a magazine like this. Welcome, Allie, my subscribers, welcome. And this was not ever in my agenda. I mean, maybe I wanted to be in like People magazine or something, but not this. But I'm awfully proud to belong to this little person. More than I could ever explain. Hey, from Raleighwood, my old stomping grounds. Tomorrow night, I'll be on Instagram talking about menopause and mental health. Saw your post. I'm a retired special ed teacher. So, Debbie, this kind of video is for you. Hey, from Rocky Hop. Rocky Hop, you're not far. So I said these are the things that, and I don't have an IEP meeting for a while, which is really great because it's not such a sensitive subject to me. We had one, I don't know, a couple months ago, so it's not even on my docket right now. But when you have a child with special needs and you have an IEP meeting every year, it kind of talks about what you're going to do and what the school is going to provide for you or your special person. And the IEP meeting always starts out with the most horrible question. It's like Satan himself has written the questions for the IEP. And it's not the school's fault. No. Oh, I'm glad, Alice. It is maybe the federal government's fault. I don't know, that dumb old Betsy DeVos. But it even happened before she got there. Speaking of Betsy DeVos, can we talk about how much her family lost into that devil that had that company called Theranos? This is what I'm glad I'm not a zillionaire, because I didn't pay somebody $100 million to pretend they could do tests on a drop of blood. Anyway, I digress. Alita says, I'm a school counselor. So when you go to an IEP meeting, you're sitting around a table, and I'm going to tell you, I was an early interventionist before I was a special needs mom. So I sat at that table several meetings. I was at the side of the table with an early interventionist person, and then the family was there, and the teachers, and the blah, blah, blah. And I was educated in child development. I mean, this was my area. I have a master's in early intervention with a minor in inclusion. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I should have been an expert. When you go and you switch seats I change teams. Changing teams is it's a whole different ball game. Welcome, Brandy. I broke down in the last meeting. So you go to the meetings and you cry. Well, there's nothing worse than trying to be serious and crying in a meeting. And I realized really early on that one of the problems is that you need to make sure before you have an IEP meeting. I mean, this could be, I could do like a whole series on IEP meetings. You need to make sure, one, that you get any results of testing before the IEP meeting, preferably about a week, but at least like 24 hours. Because when you get the results of the testing, you have this person you love and they're wonderful. Well, when you get the test results, I promise you, they're debilitating. I mean, I remember Amos was probably in kindergarten. It was like something of a 4-month-old. And I was like, that just seems so mean for them to say that. It's not their fault. But anyway, so you need the test results so you can sort of get through the emotions and then move on. So if you went in, let's just go with me here for a minute. I'm out going out on a limb. This is why I need to go to bed. You have just found out that, okay, this is a little bit, this might be too much for you. You have just found out that your dog has died, okay? And you're at school. You work at a school. And they say, your dog has died. And you're like, oh no, my dog has died. My 13-year-old Labrador named Weezer has died. Well, you get home and they're like, well, come home and we'll talk about it. And you get home and you sit down in the meeting to hear about the dog Weezer. And they say, well, Weezer was, well, somebody did something horrible to Weezer. I'm not even going to go into details because I don't like karma. Weezer didn't just die of old age. All these terrible things happened to Weezer. Terrible, terrible things you can't say out loud. Well, then at that point, you're freaking out over what's happened to Weezer. So you can't even think about making plans for Weezer because you're so horrified at what you've just heard. Is that a good analogy? So if I get into a meeting, I'm so taken aback by all the terrible test results that I can't possibly have a discussion about what my person needs, you know? So anyway, make sure you get the results early. And I remember one time, and our school system is pretty good about this, at least with me. But I remember I said, we need the results early. And they were like, well, we can't. We have such a hard time. I said, then we need to set up a pretend IEP day. And we're going to pretend it's that day, but it's going to be another day so we can make sure we get it. Welcome, Leslie. Yes, I had a great subscriber. Monday mornings with the subscribers, we have Ann Dale Homestead, who is the yin to my yang. She's very positive and kind, and I try not to give people the finger. So we really have a good time together on Monday mornings. Awful analogy. Well, I tried, Missy. Darn it. I mean, I'm not not creative. So, yes, you want to focus on the plan more than the test results. But when the test results are in your face in that moment, you can't get past them. So that's that. Thank you. Look, Catherine sees me. Karen, my people. Most IEP meetings are attended by only a mom, so me without a dad. Well, my husband has never been to an IEP meeting, and he's pretty active in my son's life, but IEP meetings oftentimes are during the school day. And I would say it's pretty difficult for a lot of people to miss work, you know? So I get it. Does the teacher contact you prior to the meeting to discuss concerns or changes? So I think that's a great idea, Jan. I do that. So I like to have, here in a perfect world, and granted, I work from home, so I have flexibility. It's great to have a lunch meeting with the psychologist if you can. let's go to lunch. Let's talk about the test results. It's casual, it's lighthearted. I had a meeting with Amos's exceptional children's teacher and his traditional second grade teacher. We actually all had a meeting together a week before the IEP because I really wanted to hear from them. And I think when you're in an IEP meeting, you're always cognizant of how long is this going to take. Other people here have places to be. I have children at home. So if I can spend a little time doing some legwork ahead of time, I think it works great. I had a meeting with the principal. Pretty soon, I guess I'm going to have a meeting with the principal for next year because he's moving to a new school. So there's lots of meetings and things you can do ahead of time so that when you get into the IEP meeting, there's nothing new sprung on you. It's all, you've talked about everything. And now maybe you haven't settled on everything. I remember it was a big year, the year that I wanted Amos to do kindergarten again. And our principal at the time, she really wasn't thinking about that. But I had talked to his teacher, I'd talked to a kindergarten teacher, I had talked to the exceptional children's person. I had talked to the principal and said, hey, listen, this is kind of what I want. She was like, I don't know. I was like, well, let's kind of talk about all these things. Unethical to release the results without explaining in the answers. I don't know about that, Melissa. I think you do have access to test results, so I don't think that's correct. I mean, you will have a chance to talk about it, but you are allowed to have access to testing of your child. It's not like illegal or anything. And so anyway, have those meetings if you can. Obviously, it is not always easy or difficult. And you can ask. You're extremely fortunate to be able to talk for them. Maybe it's a phone call at night instead of a meeting, you know? If there's 957 people watching this video right now on Facebook, that could be 5 minutes. Not your rule, the rule of giving tests, but like a play-based assessment, Melissa? I don't know. I didn't learn that in school, but I graduated a while ago. And I guess I have had lunch with a psychologist, but it's important to get the results before the meeting. And if it's necessary then, and it's not ethical to hand the results over, then we need to meet. The other thing is, oftentimes test results are written in a way that no one could possibly ever understand. I mean, I have a PhD in education, and I'm like, hello, excuse me, what the hell does this mean? And I'm confident enough to ask that question. But one, what if you couldn't be? Do you feel IEP meetings set up low expectations for Amos? No, I don't. No. Maybe I'm not thinking hard enough, but no, I don't. I really don't. No siree, Bobby. What else? So you're going to have an IEP meeting. You are going to sit down at a table, and the first question they're going to ask you, oh, I'm so glad, Tiffany. The first question they're going to ask you is, what are your dreams for Amos? And the first thing you're going to want to do is lay your head down on the table and cry the Nile River. And I find it so annoying. So tonight, when I wrote all these things parents want to say, all these wonderful, well-meaning professionals are like, you can say this to us. Tell us, tell us, tell us. Like everybody means so well when they say to tell us. It's not that we don't think we can tell you. It's not that we don't think we can tell you, I just want Amos to have friends. I just want him to be happy. I just want him to be the best version of himself. If money was no object, what would you do for my son? It's not that we don't feel like we can tell you these things. It's so freaking hard to say them out loud. It's so hard. It is like if I stripped off my very delicious, splendid Valentine's Day pajama outfit in this robe and was butt naked and stood up on this couch and did a jig for you. That's what it feels like to say that stuff out loud. So know that it's not that we don't think we can. It is so difficult to say those things out loud to you. So don't make us say them. Don't make us. I'm telling you so you don't have to hear them. Now you know. So if you are at the other side of an IEP table and the mother doesn't say anything to you and she doesn't tell you, I just want her to have friends, you can remember. Now you know that that's what she wants to say. You know? That's what she wants or he wants. There's no question. So we don't have to tell you, you know? We don't have to tell you. Lynn, thank you, Lynn. Extremely raw. There is nothing. I cried every time anybody asked that question. Every time. Right, Anne. And I don't cry. I have not cried in an IEP meeting in a couple years. I'm sure I got a little teary because I'm like, damn it, don't cry. Get it together. I mean, that's why I'm talking to myself. Because how can you be productive in a meeting? You know, if I have a business meeting, let's say that Simon and Schuster wants to sell my book. And they've said, Adrienne, come to London. Are they in London? New York. We're going to fly you up here in our jet. And we want to talk about your book. It is going to be a good book. We are so excited. We got Nellie and we got, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We wrote their books, or we published their books. We want you to come up here. And you get in the meeting and they say, Adrienne, we're glad you're here. What are your plans for Amos in 20 years? Well, the whole meeting's shot. I mean, I can't talk because I'm a puddle on the floor. The Nile River has started running again. Do y'all get that? Maybe I just need to say it over and over again, or maybe it's like too much. When you belong to this person, it's too hard to say it. It's too hard. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. And it's not that I don't want to say it, but don't make me say it now. You just had a cold. I have a cold. I have a terrible, terrible, horrible cold. And I'm a wimp. My daughter is 6 months old and they say she's delayed. I don't see it. Well, make sure you get into early intervention because that will help a lot. Anyway, that's all. I got nothing. My son is 29 now, and I'm crying, relieving that feeling. It's hard times, people. I mean, belonging to a special person, it's like, what is it like? It is the most magical, amazing, wonderful experience on the planet, and it is tough. Which is not, like, things that are hard aren't bad. I think I used to think that, like, it's not, we have this thing of, like, special needs are bad, but they're not. It's different. Just like if you're going to climb Mount Everest, right? you're getting out there, you're thinking, I'm going to climb Mount Everest. It's about 4 degrees, it's the long winter when Pa and Ma are sitting there, on the Dakota Territory, freezing their asses off, twisting hay. Facebook's probably going to ban me now because I said ASS. That was not a wonderful experience they had. Everest, no, that's no fun. But you learn a lot from that. And diamonds come out of that fire, And it's good. It's not bad. It's a good thing, but it's hard. It's hard. We need to celebrate their gifts. Yeah. So anyway, I just want the people at the other side of the table to know that. One thing really hard, if I'm going to be totally honest, discussion that I have, how do I get notifications when you're on live? You have to do all sorts of things. I have a subscriber page. I'll put oh, it didn't work. I was trying to put the link in. Yeah, I'd struggle. Welcome to struggle. This is the struggle territory over here. Like the Dakota Territory, the struggle Adrian territory. Ask the school going. Private schools may be better. Maybe for some people, but definitely not where I live because we don't have a private school that would take Amos. I mean, I think if you lived in a big city, you could have access to some places like that. Listen, public school has been awesome for me. All 4 of my children have gone to public school. I have 2 in private school now that are away at high school and 2 in public school. And I think Amos will be in public school forever. And it's been great. And I want him to have access to his typical peers. And this year has been really good. He loves it. Oh, you're so cold. It's such a cold cat. Just sit around with cats. And did your fireplace fixed? Yes, my husband got the fireplace fixed. I'm so tickled with that. Watching Little House right now. Anyway, that just felt important when I wrote that post, and everybody was Kelly. Struggle bus going on. Can that be a new shirt we have? So in 1 week from today's Monday, 2 weeks from today, I have a cruise, a blog cruise, and I have 100 followers going with me on a cruise. And I'm not bringing this cat. So anyway, there's special needs moms, there's non-special needs mom, there's men, women, blah, blah. It's going to be really fun. And hopefully we'll have time to do some videos and chats and talks. And, I think the reason I started this blog was because of Amos. And it's just, I want people to know because I don't think there were so many things I didn't know. And I'm not sure if people weren't talking about it or if I wasn't listening, but maybe a little of both. So it's important to me. Is it possible to know someone for 30 years and have no idea they are autistic? Yeah, I mean, it is a wide spectrum. Pretty kitty. This kitty just showed up in our yard one day. It was a little tiny kitty. Yes, it was. Yes, he was. We kept him. How can we get your magazine? Exceptional Needs Today. I guess you have to order one. I don't know. Tiptoe, you're distracting me. I'm talking about IEPs. You're purring. Anyway. Learn to drive and work to Walmart and Moorhead. Oh, that's awesome. Graduated with only missing 1 day of school. Ain't nobody in this house is ever going to get any kind of no miss school certificate. Seriously. We, I bet if we counted how many days people in my house have missed of school, it's probably been in the hundreds. I just, is there a self-direct program Amy's going to attend? I don't know. There probably is. You know, I operate on about 2 weeks ahead. I can only do so much. Thank you. Amanda has just put the link to the magazine in here. Isn't it called a blog, a vlog, because you do videos? I reckon it is. What do you think, Tiptoe? I don't really want to do videos. I just feel like I have to. I can't help myself. It's a sickness. I pressed the subscribe but was unsuccessful. So I will put in the subscribe button. If you go to my page and you click subscribe, it's $5 a month. And I would just like to point out to anybody that says that's a lot of money, which it is. I went to McDonald's today. I'm just going to be totally honest. I have the app on my phone. I had a cold. I just needed something to eat that was delicious so I could wallow. And I got a quarter pounder with bacon and cheese. Do you know how much it was? It was $9. So for $5, you get a video with me every day of the week. I mean, $5. That's like nothing. I paid $9 for a hamburger. So good, though. It's really good. Your son had perfect attendance. Oh my God, the person, my friend is down there, our friend, who I promise you has COVID. Did you finish the Lego plane? Yes, I finished the Lego plane. Hello from the Philippines, Mitchie. Welcome. Okay, I'm going to bed. It's 10:30. I just saw an ad on your live. I know Facebook took me out of suspension. I'm probably back in it tonight for cursing. I have a hard time not cursing. Someone's really glad you have the sickness video. I can't help it. Oh, look, all these compliments. Okay, carry on, people. And we'll discuss more. Subscribers, I'll see you in the morning after I get people to school, probably around 8 a.m. tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, I'll be over on Instagram talking about mental health and menopause around 8:30. And that's up in my stories. It's called a round robin. And then Wednesday night, I'm with Carrie Cariello and Kate Swenson talking about autism. And I don't have a topic yet, so subscribers, we can pick one. Carry on, people.